Welcome back to Surviving with Shoeler. This is episode 8, or Infinity, depending on how you look at it. In this episode, we are going to be finishing the starter base that I have been working on since episode 1. We gotta do this terraforming, and then also add just a whole bunch of trees all around this place. It is gonna be so much work. For the trees, I'm planning on just using these 3 types from episode 5, but I also have a new design for a 4th tree that I'm gonna put in here. So, new stuff's coming. In the last episode, we did a lot of terraforming, doing pretty much all of this, mossiness and stuff, and I edited the cliff a little bit, did that cliff up there, and we rotated our starter base so that it looks good. The interior is unfinished, but we'll do that another time. Before we start, I want to just say, if you are even remotely interested in this series, subscribe, dude. You can always unsubscribe later if you turn out to hate this, but come on, throw me a bone here. Also, if you've been watching this series, make sure that you subscribe, because clearly you're interested in this. A like and a comment would also be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Hey, Real Life Shoeler here. Just want to remind you I have a Cameo. You can get a video from me for just about $1. And all the money will be going to charity, specifically the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. Everything is linked down in the description. If you do plan on buying, use the website, not the app. It'll save you money. And also keep your request a little bit clean. Now back to Minecraft. Now that that's all out of the way, I want to get started on this first part. This little entrance over here needs a lot of work. When you're making art, whether that's painting or digital art, one of the tools at your disposal is directing people's eyes. That could be through contrast, like this black really stands out against this white, or you can just do it through color, like, my eyes are kind of directed to these bright red flowers. And with Minecraft building, we have this same technique, except we can also utilize 3D space. And that's why I think with Minecraft, entrances are just so important. You have a lot of different options, like entering this village. I'm going to give you a very widespread view, so there will be buildings everywhere, but your eyes aren't going to be directed to anyone in specific. It's just look where you want to look. And by not directing your eyes, it's going to make the village feel that much bigger. But as for this build, I have some very specific plans. So I want the entrance to be very tight, and I want your view to be very limited. So I'm gonna have, huge trees overhanging so you can barely see the sky. Maybe sunlight will come in. I want to put in some arches over here, have the land kind of curve over top to just make your view that much more narrow. And then as you go through here, I want it to open up more and more and more and more. And then as soon as, you get past these 2 walls, it looks really wide and really big. And then it'll just be enclosed in with a bunch of trees. And I think by doing that, it's going to make this place feel, honestly, secluded and magical in a way. Because it's going to be like, bro, how did I get into this huge spacious area from this tiny little corridor? So, okay, first step. I'm just going to use some dirt to kind of plan out how I want to do this terraforming. There we go. That's what it's gonna look like a little bit. I just want some stone coming up over here and then making 2 little arches on either side. And then this will kind of create a little bit of a 2-ended cave. And it'll slope down over here and then slope down over here on the other side. And then over here at the entrance, that's where I plan on putting in the new special trees. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, all right? It's time to get this thing terraformed. So first off, if you're like, Skyler, we can't see you do a time lapse of all the dirt and stuff. Yes, that is true. Okay, let me explain. My freaking replay mod thing corrupted, and so you can't see it. Too bad, I'm sorry. Second off, I want to talk a little bit about how I am kind of destroying myself. As I make more and more of these videos, they're getting shorter and shorter because I'm figuring out how to do things more efficiently, how to talk more efficiently. And now it's just so hard to get even 2 minutes of Surviving with Shoeler out. Plus, with less of a need to go grind out blocks and stuff, I don't know what to do. Okay, I haven't finished it all yet. I still need to do the texturing and stuff, but I just want you guys to get a little glimpse at what I'm looking at right now. So I'm gonna go through here on boat, because that's the desired way of doing it. And honestly, I'm a big fan of it. I mean, over here we'll have trees and stuff. Some custom trees kind of going over, so this area will feel very overgrown and secluded. And then you'll immediately enter this cave, which will probably have a tree on top too. And I think that this, like, I don't know, it feels very confining, and honestly a little scary with just how deep this water is too. So I think that's a good added effect. And you go in here, I made a little ledge. I'm probably gonna put a tree covering this part right here, and then this is where it's gonna start to open up, and then, I mean, beautiful. It's beautiful, right? So now I'm just gonna texture it up a little bit, you know, make it blend in and stuff, and that'll make it look a whole lot better. I'll add in some slabs and things, smooth it all out. Yeah. And look at this transition. Kerblamo! There it is. I think it looks way better. Honestly, just looking back at that footage, holy moly, it looks so much better with all these slabs and the actual textured stuff. And I just need to do one thing. I want to put in just some lanterns on either side of this, just to brighten it up a little bit. I might go for the Soul Soil lanterns, the ones that are blue. Tell me what you think, because I feel like orangey color is kind of a little better, but like I feel a dimmer light would be cooler. Let me know what you think. But yeah, if we go through here, I mean, it's just all textured and stuff, and then we come out to the front. This is my favorite part. I mean, come on, you can't tell me this looks, you can't tell me, you can tell me that this looks good, but you can't tell me this looks bad. Yeah. I was a little unhappy when I didn't have any slabs going on with this, but as soon as I added slabs and started making more, you know, complicated shapes and like the stone and stuff, like over here, you know, this is a full block, this is a slab, but then we have like a full block made of slabs. It's just as soon as I added in those complicated, you know, kind of block textures, it just looked so much more smooth and amazing. So the next thing on our to-do list is tree making. And if you remember from episode 5, we made these 3 specific trees specifically because they are native to Voyageurs National Park, and that's just a national park that I thought looked cool. So we're going to be going a little off script for this next tree, and if you're angry about that, blame Lucian Pala. This was their suggestion, which I liked, so we're gonna do it. Personally, I think that the willow trees will look really good here, because what I'm looking for is hanging trees to make this area look overgrown and just tight. And then when we have these weeping willow trees just overhanging right over top of the water, it's just gonna feel, you know, super cramped in a good way. So thank you, Lucian. Let's get these trees built. So here is the completed weeping willow tree, obviously without its leaves. Here's it with its leaves. Very cool. This is obviously only one version, and I plan on making, you know, at least 2 or 3 versions of this that I can just use all over. But this is kind of just like a proof of concept, and honestly, holy moly, this is my favorite custom tree I have ever made. I took quite a few tips from BOO on this one. He has a leafless tree on the Hermitcraft server, and I just kind of looked at it, saw how he went about doing branches and stuff, and just went for it. And oh my god, the dude is a genius. This is literally the best tree I have ever made. I mean, look at these guys. They do not compare to this. The leaves are pretty simple, and I just use these glow berries to overhang them a little bit. Although I do have some droopiness on some of the leaves that I might kind of customize to my needs in my actual world. I'm gonna make at least 2 more iterations of this so that these trees don't look too similar. Also, check it out. Early iteration of the house. And this is where episode 2's thumbnail came from. Boom, look. We're gonna get these trees built. Alright, so in my creative world, I ended up creating 2 more variations of these trees. And that's what I'm building here. So there will be some duplicates, but as long as I don't put them like right next to each other, I think it's gonna be totally fine. With the completion of this video, this whole starter base thing is like almost finished. It's weird because this series has been going on for months, But now I'm going to move on to a new project. So I do have some plans. I want to create a little farm for all my farmers to live, a little residential area nearby this little house, and then a more industrial, city-like area a little bit behind my base. So please tell me in the comments, what do you want me to work on next? Because, you know, I got to figure something out. I don't know what I'm doing. Help! So there are the trees, and they look amazing here. Oh my goodness gracious. I thought they looked good in the test world, but holy moly, they look a million times better when they're actually put into place. And going underneath them in the boat is just so oh boy. It's just so sniped. It's just so atmospheric, and it feels really nice to kind of have like this shade. I do plan to put another tree like right here so that, you know, we can get that area covered too. And then I'm going to fill in kind of all the blank spots with these 3 trees. But yeah, I'm just going to continue going through here. We got this guy over here. But I also put in this tree, which is kind of a big leaning tree or whatever. And I put it over here, and I think that looks amazing. I mean, it covers up this entire spot, which is just so cool. The next item on the list today is, well, we're going to create another one of these trees right over there, but then we're also just going to fill this entire area probably up to like right here with all of those trees and just finish this area, you know, just get it done. After spending like 1 billion hours on all of these trees, I don't think I'm going to be able to put trees around this entire thing just yet. So that's going to have to wait until next episode. But we will be able to finish this part, and we'll get a nice glimpse at the final product. One more thing I want to mention before I get building with the rest of these trees is I think I'm going to kind of decrease the level of azalea leaves and moss inside of them. The whole point of the azalea leaves being at the top and then the spruce at the bottom, oak in the middle, is that it's like the light is coming in from the top, and then, you know, it's slowly being diffused through the leaves and, you know, getting darker. And I think that that effect worked out, but I think I just need to be a little more deliberate with how the light is really working. And also, I just need to put in a whole lot less azalea leaves, because if you're looking at it from like this angle, the trees really just start to blend into the ground since it's also made of moss and like azalea colors. But yeah, I'll work on that when I'm building the rest of the trees too. And finally, just want to say, if you like these trees and you want to use them for yourself, please write a comment down below. I will put some schematic links in my Discord so you can use these in your own world. But yeah, let's get building. Enough with the dilly freaking dallying, bro. So there I went. I created all 3 different trees. I also added in another weeping willow, which I forgot to record. And then I also added in some smaller trees to fill out some of the not so dense areas. After completing this and kind of thinking about how forests work, I don't think I really got this right. By that, I mean I don't really think that multiple different types of trees are just placed willy-nilly in a forest, but I don't know, it looks good and that's all that matters. I also did a little bit of work on like the riverbed and some of the stuff in the cave, which I will show you now. All right, enough with the 500 time lapses this episode. It is time to finally show you the finished product. Bam! There's the entrance. Looking amazing, if I do say so myself. I added in some of the rocks that I used for the river over there, which I think makes this entrance just so much more interesting. It feels so just overgrown and amazing, and I just love how everything overhangs. Coming through here, you can already see some shadow on the water from this tree. And, you know, I added some more trees all around and stuff. But, oh my gosh, I love this angle. It's just, oh my god, it's just amazing. As you can see here, I did some work underwater, just simple stuff. I just, you know, put the texturing down and then put down a floor. Nothing special. And yeah, that's about it. It really doesn't look like a whole lot when, you know, you compare it to all of this. But honestly, doing all these trees, the texturing, the cliffs, all that kind of stuff took way more time than, you know, even doing that. I do want to mention it does feel so much nicer to kind of be running around in this little foresty area than to look at it from a distance. I feel like that's just the case with, you know, some things in Minecraft. Some things just look better, you know, when you're inside of it rather than when you're far away. And that's totally fine. Just gonna be a little hard to make a thumbnail. Now with completion of this project, there's not much left to do for my starter base. Everything is terraformed. All I need to do is add trees all around here, which will take a lot of time. Then do the interior to this house, put in some finishing touches, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, I'm so excited to finally finish this entire area next episode, hopefully next episode. And then we'll kind of look around in episode 10 and recollect on everything that we've done. And then we will begin the next project, which again, please tell me in the comments what sounds the most interesting. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the video. If you made it this far, please subscribe. I have a lot of things coming. Leave a like, comment, and my cameo is in the description. But that'll do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.